Welcome to the China Leadership Dilemma podcast. My name is Jin Xu, your host, and today we will explore the impactful nuances of culture through the deepest levels of awareness with our guest, Wenjia Zong. Now, she is founder of LIMVI Studios here in Orange County, and that's a female-operated creative consulting company and branding agency. LIMVI stands for Less is More, Visual Identity. Wenjia, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so
My pleasure.
we always start, please tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Where are you from and what do you do?
I'm from China. My hometown's from Kunming, Yunnan, which is a small village in southwest China.
Okay.
And my original major was fashion design, so it's a lot related to creative art and visual. And then converting to more of the graphic designer right now.
Now you learned fashion design in China or here in the U.S.?
Here in the U.S.
Here in the U.S.
Yes.
Okay. And when did you come to the U.S.?
I came to the U.S. 2008, so technically it's 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And when you first came to the U.S., had you been to the U.S. before?
No, it was my first land, and from there it just goes.
Okay. And where did you learn fashion design?
Well, I think I started to learn fashion design when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
Had this, in girls' mind, you have this little imagery about building your own dress and building your outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And started with a learning sketch cartoon and little girls dressed in different pink dress or, fluff, ruffle. And then when I was in second grade, we had this performance I think every class have to give a performance to the school. So in my class, there's one girl wanted to sing and the rest of the girl wanted to dance.
Okay.
And the question came from the teacher is, what are we gonna wear?
Mm-hmm.
And for somehow I was like, I can create a dress. I just raised up in my hand and I started to design dress with a paper.
Mm.
So those wrinkled paper, colorful paper?
And this was in second grade?
Second grade.
Okay, so you've been interested in design since you were very young.
Since I was very little.
Okay.
And I just made different flower dress because the song's about the flower girl.
Okay.
So I used the paper and the staple and the tape and the glue, whatever I can do to, create 18 different dresses, and they were wearing it to perform.
Now, did your parents inspire you to be creative? Because that doesn't sound like traditionally what Chinese parents do. I mean, how did you develop an interest in design and creativity? Can you even recall how you got interested in that?
I just love color since I was little. I like, when I was really, really young, the first time my aunt put a nail polish on me, I was looking at nail polish, I'm like, why can't we do some art with it? That's when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I told my aunt, I was like, I wanted some dot, I wanted some, pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first manicure, I think, idea from little me, that my aunt would use a chopstick and just dot a little different color on the nail polish, so it looks, different from the plain color.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I think I observed a lot of different fabric texture, button. I loved the Barbie when I was little, so I would make my own dress for Barbie.
Or was it a American Barbie or was it a China?
American Barbie.
Okay, so you had an American Barbie in China.
In China. At that time, it's very expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, I think about like 25 years ago, it's a few $100 in Chinese to get a real Barbie, and I was lucky enough that I had one.
Oh, okay. And so you came over to the U.S., was it for graduate school in design, or was it?
No, it was for bachelor.
For bachelor.
So there was a battle for me at that time because I was an art student in high school, so I was supposed to go into this art college.
Okay.
But my dad wanted to, send me outside to study abroad, which I'm fine with.
So that was his idea, not your idea.
He brought it up.
He brought it up.
At that time, most of my classmates, their parents would say something like, "Oh, do you want to go to, United States? Do you want to go to Paris? Do you want to go to Europe?" They always have that conversation going on, but at that time, it's a lot to afford for a family to send your kids study outside.
Right.
and my family never brought it up, so I didn't assume. I just go with it. And there's one day my dad asked me, "Do you want to go study outside of China?" And I said, "Of course, if there's opportunity." And he offered, but it's like a deal pitching your idea. Basically, I told him I want to go to fashion, I want to go design, and I want to go to Paris or London because that's where you find most of the art and art history and inspiration of the fashion, and the original of the creativity. But my dad, he came to United States, I think the beginning of 2008, and he loved it. He just absolutely loved the United States, and he told me, if you're not going to United States, you're not going out.
Okay.
So back to me, it's like I had no option. I didn't get a chance to choose where I want to go.
And he liked specifically Southern California.
Well, I think
did he care where in the United States you were?
He didn't care, but at the time, he's my father. He loves me, of course, so he wanted to make sure I'm safe. And my mother's best friend lives in San Diego, so obviously they wanted me to be around San Diego so she can look after me if there's anything happen. So my first land was actually in LA, and they picked me up. We went to San Diego. So I started in San Diego. The first 2 years of the college year is in San Diego, which is Grossman College. And then I transferred into Cal State Long Beach.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then what year did you graduate?
2013.
2013. Okay, so did you also get 2008 to 2013? That's 5 years.
5 years. I took a 1 year break though.
1 year break.
I had a gap year.
You had a gap year, okay. And then you got a bachelor's degree?
I got a bachelor degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what did you do immediately after you graduated? Did you find employment, or what did you do?
Yeah. Right after I graduated, I got an offer letter. So that's I'm just very lucky out of that, and I'm thankful. But I want to talk about a gap year because I did a lot during a gap year.
Okay.
At that time, I was in my mind, I thought my parents couldn't afford my tuition, which I think they can, but at the same time, I don't want to bring the extra layer of stress because the complexity of the Chinese traditional family, you have to take care of your parents, which my grandparents for them, and you have to take care of me. Of course, I have a sister, so it's like they have a lot of stress they have a lot of things on their table. So I started to work. I worked 3 different jobs with a full-time student status. So at that time, I was really burned out. I worked for a good 8 months or 10.
No, you said 3 jobs.
I had 3 jobs.
At the same time?
At the same time.
And how many of those jobs were design related?
1.
And what were the other 2?
Well, it's really, you can't say like design related because creativity can be from anywhere as far as you wanted to have the mindset, right? And visual is another thing that if you have that mindset, you would do things visually no matter what your hands on. Like I can put this, I think this is pretty, I will, lay the table the way I want. So I had 1 job at working in boba tea station as a server, which is really fun. Made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
At that time, my English wasn't that great, so that's like opportunity to be able to practice on a daily basis, and it's really force you to speak to the customer, make mistake and shame on it, and earn of it, and learn and keep going. So that basically is definitely a really really good experience. Another job is a sales associate in a retail store.
Okay.
So it's related to my fashion major. Styling, design window, come up with an idea to marketing to help sell more. And even the owner of the boutique trusted me, so I was able to go to the Magic Show, which is a fashion trade show in Las Vegas. So we got to...
So this was while you were still an undergraduate student?
Yes.
You got to go to Las Vegas for a fashion show?
Yes. It's not fashion show, it's a trade show.
Trade show.
So different vendor, different supplier would come all together and just sell their product, and you can put in order of how many you want, and they will deliver when it's ready.
Okay, so you were kind of learning the business side of the fashion industry while you were an undergrad.
Yeah. By work, by force yourself to outside and work.
Okay.
My other job is working in downtown LA as a style merchandiser. It's hard to explain how the job does. So basically in fashion industry, you have two ways of have a brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first way, if you're a designer, you get your own inspiration, you design it, you pick the fabric, pick your label, put them together, mass produce, find your selling channel and sell it, and it's your label. Let's say my name is Wenjia and I'm selling the brand called Wenjia.
Mm-hmm.
Another way of doing it is I come up with a name, I say, okay, my brand name is called the camera, right? Let's say the camera brand, I'm gonna hire a bunch of style merchandiser. What they do is more of the database. They would go into market on a daily basis to search what's a new style, what sells good, what's a new color, what's a new fabric in their niche market. And by collecting all the sample and data, we purchase a lot of sample from market, come back to the warehouse, we redesign it. So the style merchandiser has a design job in it. So basically we would think, okay, maybe this fabric can be better, maybe this color can be better, maybe we change the trim, we change the button, we add length, add some lace, or make the size bigger, somehow come up with creative ideas to make the dress or make the piece we call the style different, but still in the same base. Because if the style sells in the market, we use the same style pattern, but if we make it different, the same customer will buy it again.
Okay.
So that's a mindset in the fashion industry, which I think is ridiculous, but it worked. It worked. Trust me, it's like most money-making idea ever because it's very data-based.
So this is kind of what you did mainly during that gap year, was work 3 jobs.
Oh no, I worked before the gap year.
Okay.
I was on my third year. I was junior year. I was junior year. I was trying to, pay my own tuition and not ask money from the parents. So I was like, yes, let's go. 3 jobs, 18 credit, I can do it. So start from there, worked for about 8 or 10 months. I was 100% burned out.
Did you travel any during that gap year?
Okay, so that's before the gap year.
Okay.
So before the gap year, I was burned out, and that's why caused the gap year happen. Because if without that burned out, I can still going. So all of a sudden, I'm like, my body's it's not working. I take too much coffee. I drink too much things to keep myself awake all the time.
Now, did you have health problems coming up, or were you just aware?
Health.
Were you just aware that this is not a healthy way to live?
I think it's more of the stress.
So you were not sleeping well, not eating well?
Yeah, well, no, I was perfectly fine on the health, but it definitely caused a lot of issue in my relationship with my boyfriend at that time. So just to the point, your life is like, no, you need to take a break. So I decided to take a gap year, and I took a year break from college. And I decided to go to Nepal.
Okay.
I decided to go back to China to be with my family because I was a little sad that I was not,
So you took a gap year and went back to China, or before that you went back to China?
Oh, I took a gap year. So this is already starting the gap year.
Okay.
So in my gap year, I told my college, I'm coming back a year, save the spot for me, leave of absence, send all the forms signed by the consular. And I bought a ticket back to China and just spent enough time with my family because there's one night I remember still, I was sitting by my desk writing my paper, and all of a sudden I had this like really sad feeling because I find an old picture of me and my sister. My sister and me are 12 years apart. She's 12 years younger than me.
Oh, wow.
So when I came to United States, she was only 5-6 years. 6-7 years. She's really young. And then I came for 3-4 years. I look at her picture, I was like, I don't recognize her anymore. She's my sister.
She definitely doesn't recognize you.
Well, she recognized me, but
So maybe some of it also you were feeling homesick?
Homesick, of course homesick. At the same time, I feel I missed a big part of the family that I don't get to observe my sister grow up. And for some reason, I was just so sad about it. I was really sad about it, and I went back for a month. to just, reunion with the family, reunion with my friend, catch up on things. Really didn't do much, just totally had a good time, chill around. And my parents bought a ticket for me to go to Nepal. I've been always wanted to do something volunteer, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I did my research.
Why did they choose Nepal? Was it something spiritual? Go to the shrines in Nepal? Discover your inner soul? I mean, what was the reason to choose Nepal?
It was inspired from a book. When I was little, I love reading. My grandma forced me to read a lot, so I was reading different books. There's one book I remember. It specifically said something about Nepal. I don't remember the original sentence, but Nepal becomes such an organic country in my mindset that I wanted to visit. Because
you went by yourself?
I went by myself. I think I was 21. 20 or 21 at that time, maybe 21.
Okay.
21. So I went from a hometown strictly to Nepal, landed there, and I didn't go through any charity. I didn't go through any of the organization. I just find a local orphanage and I sent an email to them, and they responded to me, and they gave me their location. So I just went.
You went and you volunteered.
I volunteered.
Okay.
I volunteered. It's a local orphanage, but it's a very interesting cultural because they are from Nepal. They grow. All the kids that grow up in Nepal. As we all know, it's a Buddhism country. No, that orphanage is Christian. So the manager there, he converted into Christian in his early age, and he started to collect kids from the street because a lot of them, their parents either, dying from disease, they don't have money, they don't have food, they're on drug, all kinds of problems. So he collected all the kids from the street. He has about 10 or 12 kids at that time.
So how long did you spend in Nepal?
I think it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
It wasn't too long. It was only 2 weeks.
Okay. Now, was that experience, did it change you in any way?
Of course, yes. Yeah.
And what was the biggest kind of change or realization from volunteering at an orphanage?
I think the life is a miracle, and the life is it's full of mystery, and you can't explain. I become vegetarian after I come back.
That's how you became vegetarian?
That's how I become vegetarian.
Okay, and so you've been vegetarian ever since?
Ever since 2012 to now, 5 years.
So
6 years. 6 years.
Okay. I want to fast forward a little bit. So you were burned out in school, you were a little bit homesick, but you've actually been in the United States now for 10 years.
Yeah.
So at what point, when you think of home, do you think of the United States as your home now? And if you do, at what point did you start thinking, this is home? Like if you were in...
That's a really good
Let's
question.
say you were in France and you're stuck in, okay, now I'm tired of traveling, I want to go home. When you think about, I want to go home, are you thinking about home in the US now?
Yeah, right now I'm thinking more about the US, and it's a really good question because the first time it was awkward when you have one seed, but you grow your root into different continents.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, oh, when people ask you where you're from, it's really hard to explain in one sentence like, hey, I'm originally from here, but I moved there, right? It's a little complicated in that situation. So when I was traveling to Nepal, there's one time I was trying to purchase a scarf. So the guy came over, the guy was like, where are you from? And in my first instant, I didn't think, I just answered, I was like, I'm from the United States. But he's
originally
like,
from China.
I didn't say anything like that, I just said, I'm from the United States. And he looked at me, he's like, He's like, are you sure you're from China? Because to them, they think, all European American people are like Caucasians, but obviously it's not. So to me, I think that's the first time I realized, I already built my mindset in a different construction.
Right.
So basically, you have a land, you start to build a house. The first of 3 level, or like Chinese Asian style, and start at 4 level, 3rd, 5th level, you have this European influence, American influence added into it.
Yeah. Now, before you came to the U.S. for the very first time, did you have any American friends or non-Chinese friends in China?
Yeah, I do. I have a few of them.
In China, this
In China.
before you came.
Yes.
Okay, and can you talk a little bit about how those friendships are different than your friendships with people that you can speak Chinese with? Do you feel more distance? Can you still be as close to friends that you don't speak Chinese with?
There are 2 types of people that you will meet. Those type of people agree that their hometown is their root.
Right.
And there's second type of people, which is more like gypsy people. They don't really care where you're from, and they really don't care about, like, because we're from the same hometown, we love each other more. So when I met those group of foreigner friends in China, they're a group of foreigner people in China. There are a few from Ireland, from Toronto, from United States, from Australia, from UK, a lot of them. And they all play music together. They had a music band in China, back in my hometown.
Right.
And I was a part of the kind of like the group.
Okay.
But I was not like the core people. I just, hang around and watch their show, all of that.
Were you a singer?
No, I wasn't. No.
Now, how did those friendships with those foreigners in China, how did that prepare you for life in America when you first came? Did it help?
It helped. Well, I can't say 100%, but the mindset when you grow up in a small town, you know everyone, and you're very comfortable. No matter you go, you know your language, you know how to bargain.
Right.
You know people are lying to you, so you already have that training set up in your mind. You look at people's eyes, you know what they're doing.
Right.
But when you change the face to a different nationality, you look at them, you're like, what do you mean? You don't get that at the first sight. Like when I went to Nepal, they don't nod. They shake like this. When you talk to them, they say yes, but they do this.
Okay.
And it's like you have to get used to it. You have to train your brain to get used to it, to know what it means. It's the same thing when I was in China with a group of friends. You have to. They don't care about you, but yes, they do. So you have to find that boundary of the distance between people. Like in China, we love everyone close. Like we'll hold hands and we'll go to restaurant together. We think that's normal.
But that's only with your girlfriends.
With a girlfriend, yes. But of course, people are a lot closer, like this personal space, right? And over here, you're trained to have personal space. You have at least an arm around you. You have that space to move around.
But you always have to hug each other when you see each other for the first time here.
Yeah.
But in China, you
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. And when I went back last year, I was trying to hug my friend. I can see the uncomfortable on their face, but they hug me, but it's uncomfortable for them to do so.
Okay, so when you first came to America, what did you struggle with the most culturally when you first came?
Oh, communication.
Was it because your English wasn't that good, or was it because people weren't as friendly? I mean, why was communication a struggle?
Communication is not just language. It's not just talking.
Right.
It's the subcontext.
Right.
So you look at someone before they say anything, they have the facial expression, you wouldn't know what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
So basically my first time I got scared, I didn't know what to do as I was walking on the street. I was in college, walking on the street. There's a little, like student walked by me and he said, "Hey, what's up?" And he walked by. I was scared. I was like, "What do you mean? I don't know what's up mean." You never learned that in China. You say hello, you say how are you, you say thank you, I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's all. So basically when people say something very local, they want it to be nice. And they're very serious because they think that's normal. And to me, I don't think that's normal. So at that time I was scared. I thought, I'm going to be harassed or something.
And how long do you feel you struggled with understanding how Americans communicate? I mean, you're comfortable now. How long did it take you before you became comfortable?
2-3 years at least 2-3 years.
Okay, so obviously when you first came over to a new country and a new environment, communication was kind of the biggest challenge because you didn't understand what people meant when they said certain things. How about today? What is the biggest challenge today of still being partially culturally Chinese, but now you're a business owner and entrepreneur here in America? What is the biggest challenge for you now?
For me right now?
For now, right.
I don't think it's a communication anymore. It's more about how do you utilize your communication to sharp yourself and to teach what you want to say and get to the point, still with a touch of your personality. Because you can copy others easily by writing a script, remember it and say the exact same thing when people ask. But how do you fake it until you make it, until you became it? That's a very different level.
Right. Okay. So that's probably what you struggle with most now. So we've already talked about the gap year, and then you graduated. So after you graduated, what was the first thing you did? You got employed, right?
Yeah. I was last year. So I came back from gap year. Last year I was half on course and half doing a lot of internship.
Okay.
So I interned for BCBG Max Azria Group. I interned for St. John. Interned for local, consider high-end, mid to high-end companies.
Right.
Because I was in mass production fashion, I don't want to deal with them again.
Right.
I was tired. I think it's a lot of waste pollution, and it's just against to my personal belief. Wanted to go to high-end and luxury industry because I feel people deserve to have luxury. At the same time, I wanted to learn how this business is so profitable.
Right.
So I interned for St. John. After that, right after I graduated, they had a maternity leave. One of the visual merchandiser left for giving birth. So I covered her for 3 months. And
you covered as a contractor or a full-time employee?
As a temporary.
Temporary employee.
As a temporary employee. And they hired me. They decided to give me that position.
Full-time
they hired
employee.
me. Yeah.
Okay. And how long did you stay in that role?
I was in that role for a little less than a year. And they had they gave me a promotion to become area manager. I was the area visual manager for 2.5 years. Actually 2 years.
Now, area visual manager, was that more of a business development role or a sales role or what?
No, area visual manager. So basically, visual merchandising in the fashion industry is, to me, my understanding, is a part of the branding strategy.
Okay.
So you have a label, and then you have to translate the label into your design, into your product, into your message you send out to your audience.
Okay.
And one of the important message is your window presentation and in-store presentation. How does people feel when they walk into a boutique? And what's their take on from that field to judge your price point, judge your quality, to see if they'll fit in as an audience, will they pay?
So that's the area you're talking about. Oh, okay.
So visual merchandising is basically look at the area here. Why would I put this light here? Why would I put this table here? What I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
So it's a whole 3D mindset of thinking, how visual can change people's thinking.
Okay. And then what did you do? So why did you stop doing that and move on to something else? And what did you do afterwards?
Because there's a feeling. Well, I traveled a lot for that job, right? I enjoyed it. I managed different stores. I talked to different managers. I helped them to grow their sales, find the strategies, redesign a window. One of my projects, I got to design Harris window in London once, which is definitely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I loved it. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So after a while, think a lot of what are holding the business together. I feel like I'm a little bug hanging outside of the circle. I'm supporting the business, but I don't get to see what's inside. I don't get to see what design department does. I don't get to see what technique we have. I don't get to see what the sales strategy we have. So having that entrepreneur mind, you're always doing a supportive job. It's not fulfilling. So to me, I just want more. I wanted to dig in more. I wanted to help more. I wanted to be part of the the group inside.
Did you ever talk to anybody within the organization of moving into other areas? You just didn't feel the opportunities were there?
Yeah, the opportunity wasn't there at that time. I don't think the opportunity there now because I still have good connection with them.
Okay.
I really, really, really wanted to go to international business department at that time. Also, I started to reach out to the VP, reach out to the director, showing my interest because I told them, hey, I know you guys are moving your business apart to China. I'm the only employee in this, headquarters speak Chinese. I have that background. I can help. I tried a few times, but I think at that time it's also a struggle for the organization that they're moving on to different investors. So it's a lot of from top-down changes.
Right.
So it just ended up to be a not possible. But I also got a chance to host people from Fosun when they're visiting as an investor or as a buyer. We got to work together. I got to design Shanghai's window, help them to open the first flagship store in Meilongzhen. So it's, think about it. It's never a bad experience. It's never a bad experience. Always a learning process. There's always something sparkle inside. You can take it on. So I never think back there's anything I did I would say regret.
No, absolutely. You got a lot of exposure to the business side of the fashion industry.
Lucky enough.
Yeah. So now after you decided to move on, is that when you started your own business, or did you seek other employment?
No. So I resigned from St. John and I prepared for a year because I saved a year money to invest in myself. I want to continue education. So I applied to Central St. Martin in London and got accepted for their summer program. And I went to London for 2 months and I traveled around Europe. So I was in Europe for a good 3 months in total.
Okay, so you went to London to learn more about
design.
Know more about design.
Yeah.
And also take the opportunity to travel Europe. And then what did you do when you came back to the US?
I came back at that time, had another mission because because my parents decided they wanted to move to United States too.
Okay.
So I started the application to help them, to do the immigration, all of that.
Now, were you already a green card holder at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I helped them to move along, and I spent a good half a year or 1 year to just help them to fill that process. And at that time, it's right before Trump got on board. So it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky to process everything, but we got it handled, and it's all good. And they got a green card. They're happy. They travel back and forth.
Okay. So let's fast forward to you being a business owner and starting your own company. So how did that happen? Did you just say, I want to start a company? Did you have some friends or partners who you said, okay, let's start a company together? I mean, what was the vision or the impetus or motivation for you to say, okay, now I'm ready to be my own business owner? Because you're still very young, right? So
yeah, it's a multiple effect. You can't really say, because of certain reason. Most people start a business, of course, the first layer is passion because you love it. I just love art, love design so much, and I feel like I can do this all day long. I don't think I'm working when I'm doing design. I don't think I'm working when I'm managing design people. So it's never become a part of the things that I hate. I'm so stressed out. I don't know what to do. It's always a part that I enjoyed so much.
Yeah, but as a business owner, you can't just do design. You have to take care of business.
Hang in there. So when I was in college, they had a few different college projects. One of the projects is you have to make a brochure for your fashion show.
Right.
Most of my classmates doesn't know how to use Adobe program. So we had this voting because, people would vote for the best brochure. And I'm the little girl, never talking in class. I never raised up my hand. I was so shy. I had a lot of shame at that time.
Really? Why?
Because I feel like I can't talk. I feel like I'm not dressed properly in class. It's just
You're self-conscious.
Self-conscious in the fashion industry that always, I don't know, just, I think in that age I was really self-conscious for some reason. But now I'm more mature now. More comfortable. I was so self-conscious that I don't talk in the class. Turns out that my design become the most voted. Half of the class voted for my design. I never wanted to go into graphic design until that moment I realized, something I know how to do is different.
Yeah.
So from that point, I've been, taking design project here and there just for fun. Never thought it's gonna turn into a business. Came back from London in the process of applying for my parents. I had a spare time. I wanted to do something, but I was not ready to take a full-time job. So I started to design, just promote myself in a different channel like the WeChat group.
So you were doing freelance design?
I was doing freelance design.
Okay. And then when did you start saying, okay, now I want to make it a business?
So it all started with one project that's like a little bigger project. It's freelance. I don't think I could handle it. And I have this group chat in my WeChat group that is all young people from my hometown. It's about 250, 70 people, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So there's one girl in the group chat. We've never met in person, but we've been, talking a lot. And she asked me, she's like, hey, I know you have your permanent resident here. Will you be able to help me to send a proof for my school? So I can, take on whatever OPT. At that time, because it's freelancing, I don't want to hurt my personal credits. I use a DBA. And she asked me, I'm like, okay, I can do that. It's easy. So I wrote a letter to her, and we started to take a project together.
What was the DBA? Was it LIMVI?
Business S. Yeah, at that time still.
It was already LIMVI.
It's already LIMVI.
Okay, so let's backtrack. How did you come up with LIMVI? The brand title, the tagline, that's yours. You created that, right?
Yeah, I created that name.
Okay, so that is obviously your brand identity, right?
Yeah.
Less is more visual identity. That's how you market yourself, even today.
Even today.
Right, that's your brand identity. How did you come up with that? What was the trigger behind that?
So when I was in St. John, we were designing a window. And my director had the whole pile of book and the photos of other brands' window. There's amazing, beautiful window from Bergdorf. It's a huge less is more. And there are girls standing there like dressed really chic with a different lighting, neon light of that. So I was looking at that. I got a lot of inspiration thinking about what the message behind the less is more. Sometimes you don't have to give everything. Sometimes a little, one drop of water is enough. So inspired by that, I think less is more just become a part of the thing that I believe in. I believe in you don't excessively purchasing fashion, you don't overspend your money, you don't overspend your energy in anything. It's always in a capability that easy for everyone, easy for you to handle. So I think it just become a part of my lifestyle in a way.
Now, does that reflect in how you kind of approach design? Like, I know there's a lot of, I'm not in the design industry, but a lot of people feel that, the simplicity is much better than complexity. Because when you're branding, if the concept is too complex, people can't identify with actually what it is you do.
So Guanxi actually said, simplicity is ultimate elegancy.
Right.
And I 100% agree on that. I think the reason why, not saying the reason why because I'm not the executive level of design or creative director, but from my own experience of observing fashion and how product flows in this market, is you always have that one product classic enough can survive for multiple years, wouldn't devalue, like the Chanel bag or like the classic Birkin bag from Hermes. So think about it. Why would those products exist for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, even though they don't change? They're the same thing. They don't change. So what less is more really bringing into is people doesn't like complication, and the design is such a thing that you need to make something easy for human to understand, and design such a thing that based on humanity, based on how we behave. And as you know, now we have all the technology, social media, we have so many films, slides, iPad, you have to take so much information.
Right.
That little simple touch can help human to function a lot easier, and that's the most important part.
Okay, so now you are an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you are the founder of LIMVI Studios. You're no longer a freelancer.
No,
right? So when did LIMVI Studio become your full-time career?
It's last year, April.
Last year, April, so just over a year only.
Just over a year
Okay.
little over a year as a company.
As a company.
We're very younger, baby stage. At that time, I took a big project, me and my partner at that time, Moira. So I took on that project, we worked together and realized we worked together really well. She's an international student, she need a OPT and whatever, like the paperwork. So we discussed, I decided to use my name to open this company, but I really wanted to sponsor her to be able to, to be here. So we start that business. That's like the trigger reason, but the reason, of course, I love design. I want to have my own business. We love fashion together. We love beautiful stuff. We like to be freelancing. So it's like multiple layers of reason together.
Yeah, of course. So Moria, is she legally an employee of LIMVI Studios?
Yes.
Okay, but behind the scenes, you're like business partners.
Yeah, we're like business partners.
Okay, and now how many other partners do you have in the organization now?
Right now, it's me and her and another girl.
Okay.
This girl joined us recently, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. She just didn't want to look for a job, and she had all the skill we need, so we just came together.
Okay.
And funny or not, we are from the same hometown.
Okay. And I've been to your website, and you kind of market yourself as a group of female designers.
Not a group of female designers, but a group of female-run design agency.
Female-run design. So, anything against bringing on male partners?
Possibly, if there's a right fit. Yes, possibly. It's not like we are girl power that we're against to gender, no, but we definitely need the right fit. And we do have a few male freelancers do project with us, so it's not a problem. It's not gender problem. I think it's just fun to see that female-operated studios still be able to operate as the way it's supposed to be. Yes.
Okay, so now you're the founder and you're also running the business because LIMVI is basically your creation. What is the balance between the management and business side and the creative and design side? I mean, obviously you can't just do design now because now you're a leader.
Yeah. It's good.
And do you struggle with any of the business aspects of the business? Because now you can't just do what you love, which is design, right? Now you have to manage customers, manage suppliers, manage labor.
So I think it comes to me pretty quickly, no matter what aspect I touch on.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I had another job when I was in college, I never mentioned, as a sales rep.
Okay.
So I was sales rep for a good 2 years. Communicate with the clients, communicate with the customers is one of the biggest challenge always. But you always find a trick to balancing out what people want and what you want. And the more you do it, the more you get better with it. It's always practice, and people tend to have this pattern. If they show you a sign they want something, they will tell you. Right.
Okay. Because you're still very young and it's still very early in your entrepreneurial journey. I also want to talk about, there's people naturally have different types of biases. Okay. So you're female, and also you are originally from another country. We can even just say you're kind of a minority. When you're talking face to face with another decision maker, the head of design, the president of a small to medium company, do you ever sense any kind of gender or cultural bias?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
And when you do, how do you handle it?
either walk away, or if that project is big enough that you really need it, you really want it, deal with it.
Okay, and how do you deal with it?
Just deal with it. Ignore the thing you don't want to hear and point to the project like pro. Because when people together talking, you don't say anything verbally, you don't act anything physically, but you have this vibe of feeling transmission from the other party to you that you can feel in that little space that either you're the dominant or you're a little soft.
Yeah. Does it feel like sometimes maybe a lack of respect or something like that?
Oh yeah. Okay. But it's not verbally that you can say or approve. You have to use your second mind to feel it and really realize that, okay, so he thinks he's an alpha right now. How do I communicate with him to not offend him, but at the same time get what I want? And it's definitely a technique. The more you realize it, the more click you hear. The first few times you won't hear anything. And the more you observe, you will definitely feel that there's always either he's more soft or he's more dominant that you have to, figure out the way to communicate this straight.
Now, do you feel that, because obviously when you first started, you didn't have as much experience, but now that you are, let's just use the word, now that you are more seasoned, you're a more seasoned professional, you're a more seasoned business owner, you're a more seasoned designer and entrepreneur, do you feel that those kind of biases are lessened now because now you are more confident in what you do and what you say? Or is it about the same?
I don't think the amount of people around me changed much. It's still same people. But to me, I think I have more confidence to deal with them. At the same time as our studio grow, the project grow, the profile grow, we pick and choose our client too. We don't just take anything. We used to be the one that anything come to us, yes. But right now, if there's certain thing doesn't seem right, if there's certain thing alert us from the bad experience, we'll be like, well, good luck for your future endeavor. You can find someone else that can do the same for your budget. But right now, we're not looking for this type of client.
Yeah, no, but do you feel that the overall level of respect from the market has increased? Like people respect you more because you're more seasoned. People respect you more because you've successfully helped different clients. You have a portfolio of things that you can show people now. LIMVI Studios has done all of this. Do you feel that the level of respect?
I can say my feel because that's very from me point. I have no proof, but my feeling inside of me is I'm definitely more confident to deal with people now. I'm not afraid to meet new people. I'm not afraid to show my studio. I'm not afraid to say, I'm not ashamed. So it's how I feel about my things being growing rather than do I feel people respect me more. I think I respect the same way. So I don't feel people respect change, but I feel my level of production, my level of communication changed.
Okay. So where do you see LIMVI Studios growing and developing into over the next 5 to 10 years?
Very good question.
And I'm also going to ask you, what do you think are the biggest challenges for you to reach those goals? So first talk about where you want to be in 5 to 10 years, and then let us know what you think are the biggest challenges that you have to overcome.
Okay, so for the next 5, 10 years, we want to have multiple sub-brand under LIMVI Studio rather than just LIMVI itself. We wanted to have, horizontal development. We want to have product that we can sell in e-commerce. We wanted to have, rather than design, we want to have another layer of, maybe video production. Maybe we have investment. Maybe we have, like contractor, interior design, or even visual design consultant. You can have multiple layers of business under the umbrella, but right now, every single step, you need to be solid before you step on the other.
So you want to capture more of the opportunities.
I want to capture more opportunity. I want to go
with the same client. Like
yes.
The same client, instead of just giving you design, they'll give you more.
Yes.
And that'll be your value add.
Yeah, because I think the technical part is vertical because you can go deep as you train more designer. You can find the local talents so much challenger than you. You have the project, you work with them, and you come up with a beautiful concept and beautiful product, and you give it to your client. Your client's happy. So that's like a win-win to both story. That's what we've been doing now in this line, but we wanted to go more of the horizontal.
Right.
First of all, it's financial need because we need more of the keep going growth, scalable income rather than just taking on project.
Right.
Second, we need to have more talent to join us, think this as a part of their business as well, and we'll be able to take in more project without have to worry, be like, oh, timelines is tight here, we can't take more project because we're short on labor. And the third is we wanted to inspire other, this is of course from us, but we want to inspire other female creative to think this way. If you don't do it, you will never make it. And a lot of people, we've hosted event before, we hear a lot before saying the market doesn't have enough opportunity for female. But I think the first layer is you have to ask for it, and you have to approach it, and you have to show them you do better before you can win the project. So a lot of times thinking back and forth of this kind of thing to me is like, if we as a group of minority in United States can achieve what we aim to, we can inspire thousands of other female designers to be able to work without office, without time limitation, without location. As far as they have Wi-Fi, Adobe, as far as they have internet, they can take on project and make the same amount of money as we do.
And have you ever thought about, you have this vision, and how will you measure whether you've been successful or not? Like, what are the, you have now 500 people employed at LIMVI.
You can never measure success.
I mean, do you have any idea of how you will define your own success in 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think my own success is when I am first layer financially free, second layer timely free, third layer is I will be free to help the other. That's my success, because it's all started by thinking about what I can do for the other. If I have enough water, I have shelter, I have enough food, I have enough clothing, I have friends, I have family. What are you asking for? More than that. If you have that amount of money, why don't you do something good for nowadays? We're in this beautiful generation, we don't suffering from hunger, we don't suffer from, war. Well, yes, Middle East, but of course, in surroundings, United States and China, we're in the best time. We're in the second of cultural revolution that people can, not cultural revolution, but what do you call it? Yes, the recreation of culture to come up with beautiful ideas and to push on technology, bioscience, people come up with beautiful ideas to be able to do things that really help human down to earth.
Well, we're in the age of media.
Oh, the age of media, yes, I agree.
You don't need a large organization to be able to reach a lot of people.
And you can send out your information just right, a click.
Okay. And so the other part of that question is, and this is amazing that you identified what's important, first is financial freedom, and then it's time freedom, and then it's just basically having influence and being able to help other people. What do you think are the biggest challenges that you have to overcome in order to be able to achieve all of these freedoms?
Financial freedom. It's financial freedom, how do you define it? No.
To reach financial freedom, your internal challenges.
Oh, internal challenges.
Yeah, I mean, are you still facing any communication challenges? Are you still facing any cultural challenges? Are you still facing any emotional challenges?
Let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about this for a moment, because the challenge is not just me, it's everyone's challenge. And the challenge in between cultural, there is a big part. This word is called money. People are afraid to talk about money in any, or in most of the cases. Okay? In China, let's talk about the red pocket. In Spring Festival, Chinese New Year, people give red pocket money. And that's the first time in my child memory think about, oh, that's money. But to me, I don't know what money does. I don't know. It's a piece of paper with a letter, with a design, and crazy like things on it, and you can look in the light to see if it's fake or not. That's what I learned about money. But what does that piece of paper means? It could mean a meal. It could mean save. It could mean investment. It could mean a lot of things between the digit.
Right.
So not afraid to talk about money. It was a very, very first struggle I had. Because grow up as a creative, grow up in the more of the art influence, you don't talk about money. It's just the way this industry is. You see very successful artists. You see their art piece sell for millions of dollars. You don't hear them talk about money.
It's very hard to value creativity.
It's very hard to value creativity. And talk about money it's like selling yourself in a way. Of course, in the United States too. It doesn't matter which culture you go to. Talk about money. It's a tough situation. It's very uncomfortable for a lot of people, and you have to overcome it.
Okay. And where are you in the development of overcoming that?
I'm like reading books and learn from others, but at the same time as talking to different clients, you figure out your way.
Okay.
Yeah, different people have different approach to that.
Okay, so that's very interesting. So one of the things that we always want to try to do is ask some more fun questions. So as we're wrapping this up, I want to learn more about this. So for people who are listening to this on iTunes, Wenjia has this huge, beautiful tattoo on her arm of a tiger with flowers. Now, did you design that and draw that?
I kind of had this in my mind for a year or two.
Yeah, don't cover that. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, my dresses were tied.
Yeah, so how long did you have this? This is a real tattoo, right?
It's a real tattoo.
Okay, that must have been painful.
It's okay, it's acceptable.
It takes a long time to do that much.
8 hours.
8 hours. Did you do it all at once?
All at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here in the US or in China?
In the US.
Okay.
So I've had this in my mind for a long time that I wanted something to not symbolize, because I think being the art area, if you understand or not, you just love graphic, you love symbol, you love graphic, you love things that you can explain with a word. And I definitely read more graphic rather than reading text.
So let's talk about what's on here. So there's a tiger.
There's a tiger.
So what does the tiger represent?
I think tiger is more like a passion and the brave.
Now, did you design this and then have somebody tattoo it? Or did you
I have the concept and the tattoo artist designed it and he did it.
Okay, so you told him what elements you want.
Yeah, I told him what I wanted, he put them together.
Okay, and the tiger represents kind of what? What was it?
Like passion, brave, and always alert of surrounding.
Okay. And also courageous, maybe?
Courageous, yes.
Okay.
Courageous. And I have
and then
lotus.
This is, okay, well, let's start at the bottom. This is a peacock?
A peacock.
Okay.
Because I'm from Yunnan. Yunnan is famous for the peacock.
Okay.
We have a beautiful peacock back then. So this is like where I'm from.
So never forget your heritage, never forget where you're from.
Never forget your past.
And then this is lotus?
Lotus, I have 2 lotus. This one and this one. So I have a pink lotus and I have purple lotus.
Okay.
Basically, I wanted 2 lotus because this is my lotus means zen, means calm, means always stay chill inside, not to rush yourself and rush it all the time. Be rational. So I have 2 lotus because China and the United States, of course, cross-cultural. Just a balance. Always find your balance.
Yeah. Okay. So for people who are listening to this on iTunes, you'll have to watch the behind the scenes on YouTube and be able to see these beautiful tattoos that Wenjia has on her arm.
Yeah, my tattoo artist is amazing. He's from Portland.
Portland.
Okay. Yeah, he's called Mandarin-centered, and he flies to the United States every year to take on project.
Oh.
And he designed beautiful, beautiful tattoos.
Okay.
He's vegan too.
Oh, he's vegan.
So,
now, how did you discover this tattoo artist?
I did a lot of research online.
Okay, so you contacted him.
I contacted him.
Okay.
Yeah, my favorite girl, she's in Russia and she doesn't travel, so I contacted Marzen. Marzen is beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. So obviously you have a lot of experience. So the final thing that I want you to talk about is just, you talk about a lot about empowering minorities, empowering females to express their creativity and be successful and be entrepreneurs. What advice would you give to other people who are not Americans? They're here and they're trying to build a life in America and they want to own their own business. What advice would you give to them? Because you've obviously had to go through this transition yourself.
So you will have the period of time, regardless of what you do, regardless of what issue you have. I think generally in life, in career, in family, you will have that period of time you feel like you're walking in a dark tunnel and you don't see the exit, you don't see the light. And the only way to motivate yourself to keep walking is to not quit, regardless of what you do, what you're suffering. So if you're ready to start a business, you gotta be prepared yourself to start walking the tunnel, even though you don't see the light. But I promise you, if you just keep going, eventually, short or long, eventually you'll get there.
Wow, that's a great message.
I hope that brings some information. That's just my experience. I feel like the first year was dark.
Yeah, and you've persevered, and you've basically continued along the path, and I'm sure there's much more light coming through that tunnel now.
My light is not from tunnel. My light is from my partner. My two partners are amazing. They stand behind me. They believed in me, and every time I have something that I have to deal with, they always cover what I need to do. So to have amazing people around you is my core value right now.
Okay. Well, I've seen a lot of your work, and I believe in you too. So
thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you.
And,
that's my pleasure.
Yeah, this will go out soon, and I look forward to. All of you can look forward to seeing the behind the scenes on YouTube if you want to see the tattoo.
Oh yeah, if you need a tattoo artist, let me know. I'll send you the information.
Okay, and we'll make sure all the links to LIMVI Studios and to Wenjia are also in all our social media.
Thank you.
Okay, so goodbye to the audience. Bye.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.